Hi. Hola, ¿cómo estás, guys? Muy bien, y two. Today I want to make a video. I tried to record this multiple times, honestly. The first time the audio got corrupted, and it was the best time to even make the video because everything was fresh off my mind. But today I really want to talk about dealing with people with mental health issues, especially in the gay community. I'm not necessarily trying to find like a resolution or a solution or nothing like that, because honestly it's just there's so much nuances in these kinds of situations. So I just want to talk about my recent experience, and it kind of starts off with being on the apps, of course, the infamous apps that everybody hates. But I'm trying to remove myself from that and try to be more social and go places, because I feel like it's a lot of toxicity on those apps and it's hard to get away. But I don't know, it's a very old song and dance. So I was on the apps, and this guy hit me up, and I wasn't really like super into him at first, but I was like, oh, like, it was like no face, no nothing. But I was like, oh, like, he got a nice body, whatever. Nothing crazy. And I was in my house, like my, not where like I sleep, but like, I mean, I could sleep here. I sleep on the couch sometimes. But like, this has like, there's like no, like, well, I have electricity now. I'm working on it, being solar panels. And I have like my, it's not, everything's not set up here yet. This is my work in progress house. I used to stay at my mom's. And because I don't have like water and all these things set up yet, I don't really like to meet with people, because especially if I've been like working all day, especially it's summertime, I'm like super sweaty, it's hot, the weather is definitely not super friendly when it comes to your body temperature and all these things. So like, I don't like to meet up with guys off the rip. I like to be like, I like to shower and all these things, and I like to be like clean. So this guy hits me up, and he hits me up on Jack first, then Grinder. I kind of, the conversation kind of got a little bit whack on Jack, and I kind of just wasn't really feeling it, so I just kind of zoned out. But he ended up hitting me up on Grinder, and he like unlocked all his pictures. He showed me everything, and I was like, oh, cool, he's kind of hot, like whatever. I was kind of unsure at first. Oh, hold on, please don't exit. Okay, I was kind of unsure at first about him, but I was just like, okay, cool, like, I'm just gonna let you know off the rip, like, I can't do anything. Like, it's very much, we can hang out and chill, but like, it wouldn't be crazy, because it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't, that's unless I'm like, unless you invite me over and I'm like, you could let me take a shower or whatever. Like, some men are courteous like that, but like, some dudes be weird. They be like, oh, like, I don't know if I can let you shower in my house. I'm like, I don't know what you think I got, but I don't know, like, it's very weird behavior. But I let him know, like, I gotta go to work in a couple of hours, so I don't have much time, and I want to go home or whatever. So he's like, oh, well, you could probably, I think he said, like, I can't quote him, I did block him at this point, but I think he did say like, I could shower or whatever. I don't know, like, he said something along the line like, it's fine, you could do that at my place. So I was like, okay, cool, like, green flag slash red flag, so he's a stranger. But like, let's be for real, most of us, we do that stupid shit anyways. But I will say, when I went to his house and I met him, he had a dog, and his dog was super adorable. It was a pit bull, actually. It's a small pit bull. But his dog was super adorable, like super friendly, super nice. I live for that shit. And that made me like him more, because I was like, oh my god, your dog is awesome. Like, your dog's mad cute, chill. Like, I love that. So that gave me like brownie points in my head for him. But when I got there, he was on the phone talking to his friend or whatever, and I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I know you're on a phone, but like, I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, like, when you gonna hang the phone up and talk to me? Because like I already said, like I don't have all day, like I gotta go to work in a couple hours, so like you know what I'm saying, like just being courteous. But the phone call was about some dude he invited over, and the dude was acting mad weird around him, all this shit, and he wasn't feeling his vibe, and the dude he felt like the dude was doing too much or whatever. And the friend was basically saying like, well, you know, because he was saying like his dog was acting weird around the guy, and the friend was like, yeah, like because animals pick up things that humans can't, so the dog probably already sensed that the person wasn't feeling him, or there was just like this weird tension. The dog already sensed that, and the guy just became really fixated on like his point that he was trying to make. And I don't remember the exact point, but the point I'm trying to make was like the friend wasn't saying nothing wrong or like even like dismissive or anything like that, and he was just super fixated on making some point and trying to defend his case. And I'm just like, I don't think the friend is even arguing against you. The friend is literally co-signing and just saying that, you know, you could have picked up more on certain things because your dog was picking up on certain things, and you should have had made that a sign. Like it wasn't even nothing to be like to argue back and forth with. It was just like very weird to me that he was just like, kept fixated on that thing that his friend was talking about. So he ends up banging the call on his friend, and he's like, damn, my bad, you know, I didn't mean to hold you up, whatever. And that was like 10-15 minutes. I'm not even lying. Like it was so awkward because I'm just sitting there like, you know, like when you're like at somebody's house and you're on the edge of the bed like this. Like, bitch, that's me. That was me. And I was just like, oh, like, okay, cool. You want to talk to me now? Like, cool. All right. And, you know, we're just having conversation, and something came up. And I'm sorry, I'm like bad with this story because it's been a few weeks now. And I wanted to upload it when it initially happened, but like a lot of things was just going on. And I was talking about Pride because I was gonna go to Pride with my friends, and we were already going out that weekend. We were already like doing a whole bunch of stuff. We were having so much fun that weekend, and I was just like, it was like back to back. Like Saturday was off, and then Sunday I worked, but I went to Pride, and I was just like talking about that. Or like talking about what I'm talking about like what was going to happen, right? It didn't happen yet at this time, but it was going to happen, and now it had happened. It was fun and all these things, but I was trying to tell him about that, and he's like, "Oh, you know, that's not my scene, da 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 da, all this shit," like very like aggressive about it. I'm just like, bro, like it's not that deep. Like you don't have to be in that scene. It's okay. Like I was just bringing it up for conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like what? And then he just went on this rant like, man's not supposed to be with man, and women not supposed to be women, and that's not how it is in the Bible, da, da, da. Like super aggressive, like you know when you talk to somebody and they're just like so deep in their head, like they're just like, no, it has to be like this. It's just like no, because no, like, and I was just like, what the fuck? What? I was so thrown the fuck off. So at that point, I was just like, I'm thinking to myself, like, damn. So what the fuck are we doing? Like I'm laid up right next to you. Like, what do we call this? Like, what? And then I asked him, like, oh, so are you like bisexual? He's like that's nobody's business but mine. Like, da, 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 da. Like, I was just like, okay, cool, all right. Because at that point, I low key wanted to just go already because it's like, what, like, what? And it's so funny, like, rewinding back, I initially met him. He opened his door. We went in the elevator into his building, and he was also on the phone then. But then he was talking about like, oh, like dudes usually never stick around, blah blah blah. Do you want, like, are you gonna stick around and all this shit? And at that point, I didn't know what the fuck he meant. I didn't know. Because I just met you. Like, what is you talking about? Like, what? So, you know, fast forward, like, we're hanging out and we're just chilling, whatever. And I end up falling asleep for like an hour. And then I end up getting up and like, oh my God, like, I gotta go to work. Sorry. I gotta go. He's like, oh, like, well, you can still take a shower, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, thank you, nice of you, because did not want to go to work stink. And, that was kind of like the end of that session, right? So we only hanged out twice. But like, during the first time we hanged out, he was saying stuff like, oh, my bad, I'm not really an aggressive person, blah, 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 I'm not really like this, sometimes just in the moment, whatever, like all these things. And I was just like, okay, cool, fine. Because I didn't really know what to think about it. So at that point, I went to, after I dipped, I went to work. I didn't really think about it too much. And a couple days passed. I'm getting ready for my weekend with my friends, right? So we were hanging out with some buddies, some friends, like basically my friend and then her friends. So it's like friends of friends of friends and like people that I went to Coachella with and things like that. We were all having a little like meetup at somebody's apartment in the city, whatever. So I'm hanging out with these people and then he texts me like, hey man, I'm really going through something right now. I would really need a friend. Like, would you be able to come over? So I said, hey man, I'm sorry right now. I am hanging out with my friends. We can hang out another time, just not right now. I'm pretty sure I said something along like that. I could go through the text, but maybe I'll put the text. I don't know. But hey, he responds back with shaking my fucking head. When I need you the most, you're not there. And it was just like, oh, like have fun with your fucking friends. I was just like, what? What? It's so completely left field. So at that point, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So I'm showing my friends like, yo, like, what do y'all think about this? They're also thrown around because like they're like, what? Who says that shit, right? Like I literally just met you. Like you can't make this shit up. So at that point I didn't respond back because I was just like already over it. And I'm missing context because I'm such a bad storyteller at this point. We did hang out another time before this, but we didn't really do anything either. But like we did hang out another time before, maybe like a day or two after, and he was a little bit more calm then. But even then, like when we met up, like this time he was like really like super like affectionate and trying to be like into me like I was his boyfriend. I was just like, homeboy, I just met you. Like, what's going on right here? Like, we literally just met. Like, what? We even going on a date or nothing? Like, you're acting like I'm your whole man. Like, this is a little bit too much for me. But so fast forward back to like when I'm in the city with my friends, and I'm just like, yeah, like this is very weird energy, right? So I just chose to ignore the message. I didn't even respond back because at that point I'm over it. I don't care anymore because to me it's giving unstable. It's just giving me like I don't know what's going on, but like I just don't want to be part of it. Like and the sad part is I did like hanging out with him. I really did, but I can't compromise myself because you aren't really in the right state of mind right now. I don't know if that's the right call for me to make. And at that point, I had sent him a text, and I basically said, well, from my observation, because he sent me like a voice note too as well after I ignored him, and a day later he sent me like a voice note, and it was just like he has like piano or violin playing in the background. And he's basically saying like, my bad, I didn't mean to say all that, I really want to know if we're like gonna start dating or be like friends with benefit. I just want to know like where we stand and all these things. And something triggered me to say like, cause at that point I felt like he kept just flipping, like it just kept giving 180. Like it was like he would go from super cool and chill and happy, and then he'd be like super angry and aggressive and shit. And I was just like, from my observation, I believe that you are bipolar. And of course he had an adverse reaction. He's like, you don't know me from a can of paint, all this shit, blah blah blah, don't talk to me again, all this shit. So I was just like, okay I'm just saying what I'm seeing. And I just don't. And I don't want to say I don't want to be around that, because I do have a friend with similar issues and that do have bipolar actually, but they are on medication. They are, and like it's definitely different ranges of it. So what I experienced with my friend might not be what I'm experiencing with this guy. Like it's just completely not even the same. I personally feel like it's not even the same level of like manic stages that he was experiencing versus what like my friend. It was just I don't know, and I felt like, and I did show the text to my friend because I needed a point of reference to know like whether or not I was saying the right thing. And my friend did point out you didn't have to diagnose him or anything like that, because really and truly you didn't know before, because he did admit it in the text. He said he was, but I didn't know before, so it was kind of insensitive for me to diagnose him, and I didn't really know. I could have had said something else that was gonna relate similar to what I was feeling, but I didn't have to exactly point it out. And I was like, all right, that's a fair statement. I could have said, hey, like sometimes you get really aggressive and then you're really the opposite of that or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to just be direct about it, because people are sensitive about these things that they cannot control. You know, and for the most part, you know, you do have to take medication for however long in your life and all these things. So it is a hard thing I could see for people to cope with sometimes. But I feel like if you, from what I've experienced, when people do cope with it and they get their medication, they're like 99.9 times better to just interact with it. It's no issues from what I've experienced so far, especially with my friend. And to be honest, like I didn't even know my friend had that. I just thought my friend was going through something, so I was just like, I'm gonna leave my friend alone right now, because a few months from now I was going through like the most stressful time of my life. I didn't want to do shit. I was stressed out, worrying about my house, trying to figure out where I was going to move it, all these things. So I completely understand when people kind of just shut down, because like literally for like 2-3 months I shut down. I had to like hyper focus on my house, and I was like sleeping in my car. I was like, as soon as I got off from work, I'm here. Like it was just like it was a mess. So I understand like when people just have their moments of just radio silence for like months, because I've experienced it. I want to say I've experienced it a lot to the point, but I definitely say this year I've definitely been in the trenches for sure. So that was the only thing I could really assume. And it was definitely before it was even going through the trenches, but like, I'm just using it as a point of reference. But you know, and when he admitted that he was like that though, I mean, like, you know, like I said, it wasn't sensitive, but also I think when you notice things in people, you start to just like pinpoint things, and then you're like narrowing it down. So I'm like, well, it has to be something, because like I don't feel like this is normal behavior, right? And it's hard to like deal with that. Oh my god, I feel like it's hard sometimes to deal with certain things, because you try. I feel like you try to guide people as well as you can, but honestly, like it's up to the individual if they want to make those changes to better themselves and really improve their quality of life. Like there's like, I can't tell you to take medication. I can't tell you to go to therapy. I can't tell you to see a ward. I am not a therapist. I'm not a was it a ward or a psych? One of them. I'm not a shrink. I'm not none of that. I am just a regular person. I work a regular job. I don't do anything crazy. Like, so I can't really, I feel like there isn't much I could really offer, especially since I didn't know this person well enough to even want to extend my reach to him. And that was the tough part I had to accept. And I had to set that boundary, and that's why I had to block him eventually, because there were even times like he would call me, and then he's like, hey, can you like cash out me money? I'm like stuck in Harlem or whatever. I don't have any money. And I was just like, it was just, when it first happened, like it threw me off, because I was just like sleeping, and I was like, who's this number? And I just answered it, and then I just hear him. And I guess he was like upset with the dude or whatever, and then he just starts going off on the phone. And I'm just like, what the fuck? For like a whole 2 minutes, he was just going off, like super aggressive, and I'm just like, yo. So I just cash up him the $5. I'm like, please just get home safe, and get home safe with your dog. It was too much. It was too much, and it sucks because I feel like deep down inside, I think when you're, I feel like especially like when you're going through like your periods of loneliness, you start to feel like certain things just aren't that bad, because that's definitely what was going through my mind. I was like, you know what, maybe I should try to help him. Maybe we should hang out more. Maybe that will help him get better. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, yeah, but yeah, maybe we should. But then my intuition, and I'm not. One thing I will say, I'm not doubting my intuition anymore. Like my intuition is there for a fucking reason, and I will say my intuition has definitely kicked in a lot of times, and I've ignored it, and I wholeheartedly regretted that shit. Wholeheartedly, wholeheartedly. Like there's points I've ignored that shit, and it came back to bite me so fast, so quick, and I was just like, you know what? We're not ignoring this shit anymore. We have to be able to spot things when we see it, and that's your body's natural way of saying something is not right. But like you can't pinpoint it, but your body's just telling you something's not right. You need to change something. And I had to like really listen to myself this time, and I said, you know what? I have to distance myself from this man. I have to set my boundaries, and I have to just move on with my life. And I did, and I feel bad when I felt bad when I blocked him. I did. But at the same time, I need that peace of mind where I know, like, yo, like, this isn't gonna be something that's gonna, like, drag me down to, like, the point of no return. And I'm so glad that I didn't invite him to, like, my house. Granted, like, my house is not people invitable right now. So, like, I'm glad that was even an option that even came up. Because it's just, like, imagine if I, like, block you and then, like, he decides to like come over here or whatever. It's just like people do certain things like that when they're not well, right? Like you don't know what could happen. And I think that's where really my intuition was telling me, like, I don't know what could happen. Like he could go off one day and it could be really extreme. It could be mundane. It could be something I don't know or to expect. And because of those reasons, I need to make these lines very clear that I can't be with this person anymore. I shouldn't hang out with them. I shouldn't interact with them. They need to seek the help that they need, and it needs to be without me. I cannot extend my reach like that. I'm sorry, I just can't. You know, and I was sad about it. I really was. And, you know, I kind of hesitated about making a video because I feel like it's a touchy subject, especially with people dealing with mental illnesses and mental issues and all these things. It's tough. It's tough to deal with, and sometimes it's tough to accept. Sometimes that's the hardest part, is to accept, is knowing that something's wrong with you and you're not feeling like there's much you can do about it in that moment. But I will say, like, if you are experiencing something like this, granted, I've never experienced something like this or even this severe, I wouldn't know. You know, I feel like sometimes maybe I have ADHD, but like I don't know. I think I'm pretty wired correctly. I think I operate pretty normally under societal standards. I think I, you know, do a decent job at humaning. But you know, I know for people that are struggling with it, it's hard to really to even want to seek out the initial help. I feel like because it's just like there's like a level of something wouldn't be wrong with me, like, you know what I'm saying? There's like that level of like, oh, that couldn't be me, like that would never be me, but sometimes it could be you, and that'd be the hardest thing to accept. But I think I'm gonna end the video here. I think I made most of my points clear. And just the last but not least, you know, treat people with kindness, be good to people, try your best to be a good person in the world. You know, I know we aren't always successful at doing that, but that's why we have to listen and open up more to people and be able to give people chances, you know. And I felt like I really wanted to give him a chance, but at the same time, I'm not ready, and I don't think he was ready to even be in that space, right? So at that point, I had to just make a decision for myself to just distance myself from this person and just wish them the best. Honestly, just wish them the best. 'Cause that's all. That's all I can do at this point. Just wish them the best. But I will. Oh, hopefully. Okay. We'll say thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Appreciate you guys commenting. Yeah, I'm gonna head out now. It's late. I need to go to my actual home, and even though this is my home, it's my house, but the home where I can take a shower and sleep, relax, and not have the mosquitoes eat me the fuck up. Even though I haven't had one bite, or maybe had one so far. So I don't know. They've been calming down. I don't know. Maybe, I'm gonna jinx it. But I'm gonna get out of here. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope that you got something from it. Trust your gut. I think that's anything that I want to emphasize is trust your gut. Trust your heart, because those things I honestly feel like they don't be lying. They don't really give indirect or incorrect information. Like there's always something correct that's going on in that feeling that you're having that you need to fix. And the feeling is right. You're just going against it, and I feel like you shouldn't always go against what your body's naturally telling you to do. So like I said, thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.